John Yarmo mentioned the other day to us that he's likely to shut Gustav Nyquist down for the rest of the season with the shoulder injury. There's not much point maybe in him playing the final 3 games.
Yes.
I wonder from your perspective, just how much you've missed him on the ice and also his voice in the room or in meetings.
No one, even when we had a lot of our guys still here before all the injuries in the trade deadline, even the beginning, no one spoke on him. And as far as how much we did miss him, it's just as far as a stabling influence in the locker room. Such a versatile player for me in the bench. So he was an important guy, and we haven't had him from the whole start of this year, and not too many people have talked about him, but it's been a big hole.
He's a quiet guy. His game, I think, if you watch his game, you appreciate it if you watch it closely. Is he just one of those guys that flies under the radar? Maybe not to you, but to others?
Not to us or the room, to you guys or the public, I guess, the hockey public.
Yeah.
He good guy in the power play, a penalty killer. We were working with him penalty killing, both wings, and just the presence of a pro as far as preparation and how he carries himself. It was so important to us. And you guys know the guys. I use them up and down the lineup all over the place. So it's a huge role for us as we started the year. But he needed to get this done, and there's no sense of him coming back and playing right now. Just same thing with Z. Z needed to get Z work through stuff that not sure where it was going to go during the year. It was time for him to get out too, so he could get ready for next year.
Yeah. And I think Nyquist has been skating with you guys for a while, on and off for a while. How tough is it like that to tell a guy that it's not wise for him to come back? Was that a difficult?
Yeah. He's a veteran guy. I know Yamo had talked to him. He called me. We had a conversation, and it was a short conversation with me. I said, "You're not playing." And I think sometimes, I believe that's what probably Yarmo was doing. I wasn't involved in their conversation. Was you make the decision for him. With Z, I had to make the decision for Z too, because Z he didn't want to leave his guys with all the stuff going on with our team this year. So you kind of have to make the decision for him. And I think that's the road Yarmo went, and that's the road I went.
Thanks, John.
Okay, next we'll go to Owen Newkirk. Go ahead, Owen.
Yeah, hi, John. Last month when we spoke, you were gracious enough to share a bit of your philosophy about practice time versus rest and how you like to handle the energy, both mentally and physically. And I kind of wanted to follow up on that from a observation standpoint. This season has, as you well know, has been so different and bizarre than any other season that we've seen in recent history. What kind of toll do you think it's taken mentally on your players, on players you've seen around the league, just from the way they've had to deal with this kind of schedule?
I don't know how to answer that. I'll speak on our team, I guess. I think it's it's something we've talked about through it all here, is that we're not looking to make any excuses as far as it's a year that we've talked about, that it's going to be adjustments right on through. The schedule could change. So many things could have gone on. So many things have gone on that you just face it and get ready for the next day. For the most part, I think our guys have handled that well. It hasn't shown in our wins and losses. But with the one thing for me that I think is, at least from my mind and testing athletes, I missed having training camp with our group, because I think we go through a lot of different mental and physical tests with that. I think it helps the camaraderie of a team. I missed going through the steps with our group that way. The practice times have been few and far between, because you have to, like you said, own just the energy as far as the games. We certainly would have liked to practice more, but the schedule just did not allow it at times. I don't think it affects our record. I'm certainly not making an excuse. Biggest thing for me is I like the training camp because I think that gets you to a team quicker. I think it's some of the things we're trying to do in that camp.
We had a really interesting conversation with Stars forward Jason Dickinson a little while ago this morning. And one of the things he pointed out with Dallas's schedule of not having 2 non-game days in a row for 7 weeks now is the inability to mentally reset. You come back from a game the next day, you're thinking about what you did, and you also have to prepare, he said, for the next game. You don't have a day to just be a practice player and kind of mentally unswitch from last game before the next game.
It's a really good point because a lot of people think it's when you're playing all the games and the schedule is condensed, they think it's a physical thing. It's the first thing that needs to be helped or refreshed or however he put it is the mental side of the game. Because I think when you start getting tired mentally, that's when the physical stuff doesn't come your way. And I've always felt that. And whenever we give our players a lot of days off. I believe in that because of the mental rest. Because then if you give them that extra time, I think they're mentally ready. I think the physical skills come to you there. And I just think you're fresher all over. So the mental fatigue of not being able to stop for a little bit certainly is part of a condensed schedule.
Lastly, for me, if I may, you guys have one of the best statistics of not being shorthanded. You're one of the fewest times shorthanded in the NHL, yet you guys as a group play extremely hard. How do you balance that? How do you play as physical in your face and yet be as disciplined as your record suggests?
Well, all we do is talk about it. I don't think there's anything special that we're doing. We're just trying to play the right way. Quite honestly, I don't think we've been as hard enough this year in that hardness of the game consistently enough. But we're talking about discipline, and especially now. I mean, I've lost so many penalty kills in our lineup. I barely can get penalty. I have 2 that have done it, and we're just kind of spoon feed, trying to get some other guys to do it. But it's a point of contention for me is just trying to play the right way. One thing we do talk a lot about is not taking offensive zone penalties, and that's about keeping our sticks down. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you we have this magic thing we talk about because it isn't. We just try to stay disciplined.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, we'll go to Dave Metzel. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, John, just curious about your lineup today. Any change?
Kooks is out, and Mikko comes in. Cole Sherwood's out, and Matt comes in, and Corpy's the goalie.
How much that's got to be a day-to-day thing for you as you're trying to evaluate various players, right? How do you come to those decisions each day?
Yeah, and for you guys, sometimes it's not about what they did on the ice. It's just, I guess, one of the advantages of this disadvantage that we're in as far as the season we've had is it gives us a chance, and I talked to Jarmo, it gives us a chance to let him see some players because he's going to map things out here as we move forward. So some of these guys being taken out, like Mikko's going to play with Jonesy tonight. We want to see him play with Jonesy. Yarmo wants to see him play with Jonesy. That's something that we're going to do because this situation we're in is we're going to try those different things. So it's not always on how they played. It's just looking at different people in different spots.
Thank you.